Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends. And welcome to this, a brand new day. And remember, no matter who you are valid. Once again, I'm sitting and spinning in my chair, as you may have noticed, because I have gotten back from my appointment to have my nerve conductivity test done. And pretty much went as expected. First, what they do is they apply electrodes, well, in my particular case, apply electrodes to various parts of your body and then zap your nerves. And they did that on both sides and tested things, and that was fine. Kind of feels like whacking your funny bone, except it doesn't hurt like you whacked your funny bone. But you still have that jolt and that feeling, and then if it's your finger twitches. If it's on your arm, your wrist twitches, that sort of thing. Then they did the muscle test, which is where they stick needles into your muscle, and then they listen and check electrical conductivity as they attempt to use various portions of your muscles. I could feel the needles quite strongly going into my left arm. I barely felt the needles going into my right. Thing is, though, while that's a loss of function, it's also still in the normal range. It's on the extreme, I would say, end of the normal range, but it's still in the normal range. So even though I can't feel as much on that side, is still in the normal range. And so the end result was my nerves are doing what nerves are supposed to do and working, which I could have told you before we went there, because after all, I can use both of my arms and I can feel things in both of my arms. Now, I do have issue and damage, and it was one step we needed to take. So that step has been taken, and now I know that my nerves are still functioning. They're getting pinched off, but they're still functioning, and that's good. So what's going to happen from here? I do not know. Going to have to have a follow-up with the people at Mason General, the hospital in the town I'm in, and then we'll go from there, and then hopefully end up with a surgery that doesn't take me out too much, and then just plain doesn't take me out, so I'm dead. I want to stay alive after this, so hopefully that'll happen too. I'll be alive after the surgery, and things will be good. So here's hoping. Thumbs up, fingers crossed, etc., etc. Now, on to another thing. Two types of music that I've kind of gotten into. One of them I'm going to talk about real quick, because I occasionally talk with some of my children on Facebook. And one of them is my daughter, my middle child. All of my children are adults by this time. They're early adults, like 20 and some. My oldest was, born in 96, so. And that's from a previous marriage, but I still consider him my child. But where was I? Oh, yes, talking with one of my children on Facebook. And they listen to a lot of Vocaloid stuff. And I knew that the Vocaloid was out there, and I've reacted to at least one Vocaloid type thing in my past when I was doing reactions, when I could do reactions. And so Vocaloid is very hyper pop because it's machine voice type stuff. It's not people, it's very odd. And because it's hyper pop, it can also itch that ADD/ADHD, it can also scratch that ADHD itch that those with ADHD can have. My daughter sent me a link to one song. I played it, and it was like, oh, I don't normally listen to stuff like this, but oh, this is a good song. Now, of course, they're all terrible songs. I mean, terrible in that they deal with all sorts of horrific and nightmarish things. A lot of stuff that if I talk about, I'll just be plain demonetized. But, you know, cannibalism is some of the more family-friendly stuff. But it's so happy and friendly and hyper-pop and joyous sounding. So I like it because of that. The other thing is I'm going to have to hopefully get up in one of these corners here a link to the name of the group, and the name of the songs that the group does are in a made-up language. So I can't even tell you what the name of the group is. And I don't know about the other songs and albums that this person or group has done. And I tend to hold my first impression to a group or album or such to the standard that I first hear the thing that moves me. What I mean by that is, like, there's St. Vincent, who I heard the song Melting of the Sun. Nothing I've ever heard from St. Vincent since has ever reached that point again. Nothing probably ever will. That was the pinnacle, the peak. And so anything else I hear by St. Vincent is kind of disappointing in that it doesn't exceed Melting of the Sun. And so various things that I listen to are like that. The first thing I hear becomes the bar. Well, this one, I'm talking with someone on Twitter/X, and one of the links that we were talking about music, but one of the links to a song was by this group that has no way to pronounce it. And the album that I am currently fixating on, that I am just playing over and over and over again, was released in 2023. I imagine it says the video here was 7 months ago, so who knows, but also the description was that this was the 17th album release for that year alone. So this is a person or group that pumps out a prodigious amount of art. But the album that I'm listening to right now, I kind of like the shoegazing genre, because it provides a wall of sound, and sometimes a wall of sound can be very good, and you can do things with a wall of sound. This album, it's an EP. This part of the album that I'm listening to has a lot of wall of sound to it, but it's a textured wall of sound. Instead of being engineered to be pretty much everything is even, it's just a wall of sound coming at you, which is good. Again, I like shoegazing. But this is textured in that the drums and other percussion things stand out just a little bit more. So it is a textured wall of sound. And then underneath that, it is a textured wall of sound with like a lo-fi filter attached to it. So it's got an off sound to it anyway. And then underneath that, separate from the wall of sound, and so it is another bit of texture on its own, is the quote-unquote lyrics, which in a lot of cases appear to be, and may not be, they could be in the made-up language, or all languages are made up, but they could be in that language of the group and the album names, or they could just be loud screams of real lyrics, or they could just be loud, incoherent screams. But as a part of the soundscape, it's perfect. It's beautiful. Oh my God, I keep listening to this over and over again. Like I say, hopefully I got the links up there. As for the Vocaloid songs, because you have to construct these once again in like those, anything these days, you have to have your DAW, your digital audio workshop, whatever. but it's you're dealing with it there, and you have to construct it all with samples, which I'll hopefully come back to something in another moment. But I don't understand music and that I don't know how to make it, but I understand it enough and that I can tell when something is done just perfectly. Like there is a song, here's where I'm coming back, by the group Butthole Surfers. And one of the points of it is they have the sound of a person being violently sick into a bucket. And the thing is, it's a perfect sound for the perfect spot in that song. The song would not be as good if the sound of someone being violently sick into a bucket was not there. And so I can tell when somebody's done something right without necessarily being able to do it correctly myself. Some of these Vocaloid songs, the one that really got me going was, there's like that old hotel bell sound, you know, where you walk in and you smack the thing with your hand and it goes ding. There's a couple spots where all of a sudden, ding, or ding, 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 and it's perfect. It's perfect. The song would not work as anywhere near as well if it didn't have that bell. So, thumbs up on that. Anyway, though, I'm listening to a lot of that crazy stuff, and it's only 1:29, so hopefully I'm going to get like a solo game thing recorded, and maybe not. We'll see. I got to get something done days early. So, hopefully, Estate, I'm going to get something done. Hopefully, you're going to get something done. If you do or do not, well, don't beat yourself up at the results. The fact that you could do it is good, and the fact that you couldn't, well, it's probably not your fault. Don't beat yourself up. Beating yourself up for it isn't going to help. So, each and every one of my Patreon patrons, you are beautiful and awesome people. I am not able to put the text up there. My arms are still really sore from the stabbings. It's minor league, but it hurts. So, fun on that. And if you are a person who has left a comment, thank you so very, very much. I'm answering as many as I can, but with the nerve compression, it is not nearly as many as I would like. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and I sincerely hope that the way I'm holding the tablet here as I talk isn't making anyone seasick. So, thumbs up for that. Anyway, you take care. I just gotta smack the stop recording button with my thumb.